All right, so it is 12 noon Eastern time, so we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to our esteemed panelists and honorees. Congratulations for being here today. And for everybody who's joining live, thank you so much. I know for some of you, you have taken time off work or off of your other responsibilities to be here. We greatly appreciate that. And for those of you who are watching the replay, we appreciate all of you as well. So thank you everybody for attending our first ever International Champions of the Year ceremony. Today we are celebrating the work that Girls Health Ed does and has done over the past year, but most importantly, the people behind that work. So I just want to take a few minutes to quickly give a brief overview about Girls Health Ed for those of you who don't know. So those of you who are attending have either in some way, whether it be directly or indirectly, supported Girls Health Ed or have been a champion of Girls Health Ed. But for those of you who are new friends to the organization, we welcome you as well. So as a brief bit of background, Girls Health Ed is a feminist grassroots nonprofit organization, and our mission is to advance gender equality by fostering healthy, informed, and empowered decision-making in adolescent girls and young women, particularly those from low-income, underserved communities where they're unlikely to receive the type of information and programs that we offer either in their home or their school environment. And we do this by providing medically accurate, gender transformative, and intersectional comprehensive health and sexuality education. And the way that our delivery model works is that we have trained teaching fellows who are many of the young women that you see on screen today, and we train them in-house in our curriculum, which covers issues around nutrition, physical activity, body image, self-esteem and goal setting, puberty and personal care, violence prevention, healthy relationships and consent, menstruation, and reproductive health. And we train these teaching fellows who are near peer volunteers who are recruited directly from the communities in which we serve to then go into schools and community centers in the various areas that we serve to deliver our curriculum on the ground. Currently, we're active within the US and Kenya. We're about to expand to India in the coming year as well. Within the US, we're currently active in New York City, Washington, DC, Los Angeles, California, and New Orleans, Louisiana, and are active in several villages and cities in Kenya as well. So our theory of change is based on a few key principles. Our theory of change is based on the idea that, as I'm sure all of you remember, puberty, adolescence is a very awkward time for everybody. It's a time when all of us exhibit a drop in confidence. But we find that by the time these adolescents reach adulthood, young men are more likely to get that confidence back, whereas young women are not, which leads to a gender confidence gap throughout the lifespan, which affects not only women's and young women's and even older women's personal health outcomes, but also self-esteem outcomes, educational outcomes, economic outcomes. And so our theory of change is based on this idea that if we're able to intervene at an early age with comprehensive health and sexuality education and help girls and young women rediscover the power that they already have within them to take ownership over their health and well-being, then we truly have the power to change communities. So we're operating from a few key principles. We believe that adolescent girls and young women are some of the most powerful individuals on the planet who truly have the power to change communities. We believe that comprehensive sexuality education is a cross-cutting issue, not just one that encompasses sexual activity and sexual reproductive health, but one that also encompasses mental health, interpersonal relationships, gender-based violence, the way that we interact with one another, and also the way that we see ourselves as living, thriving, living beings. And we believe that comprehensive sexuality education is key to changing communities, to sensitizing communities, to changing behaviors before they even occur, to preventing harmful behaviors before they occur, and to promoting positive behaviors as well before they occur. And we believe that comprehensive sexuality education is a critical part of the solution to changing communities and to lifting communities out of poverty and to helping all individuals thrive on multiple levels. More than that, we also believe that women's leadership, that feminist leadership, is key to making the changes. So what you're about to witness today is a true celebration of women's leadership. All the young ladies that we have on the screen today have truly been champions in their communities and have impacted lives on so many levels. And we are so proud of all of you. And we thank you all for your service, not only throughout this year, but throughout the entire lifetime of Girls Health Ed, and for everything that's to come. We thank all of you. As we're going to see from our speakers today and from our esteemed keynote speaker, the work that we do is essential work, but it is very hard. All of the speakers that you see on screen today are volunteers. They are juggling multiple responsibilities. Many are working multiple jobs. We have some attendees who are at their jobs right now. We have some attendees who are parents, even grandparents. We have attendees who are college students, honorees who are college students and who are juggling their academic responsibilities and are still, they still recognize the importance of the work that we're doing and how critical the work that we're doing is to empowering and changing communities. So from the bottom of my heart and from everybody at Girls Health Ed, we appreciate all of you. And so now I would like to turn it over to our esteemed keynote speaker. We're very happy to have Dr. Flavia Bustreo. Dr. Flavia is the former Assistant Director General for Women's and Families Health at World Health Organization, the co-chair of the Lancet Commission on Gender-Based Violence and the Maltreatment of Young People, and the vice chair of Fundación Botnar. So Dr. Flavia, please take it away.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pavita, and good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. Maybe a few of you will be in the morning zone. I am truly delighted to be with you today for a special celebration. And thanks, Pavita and Sarah, for inviting me to kick off the celebration. I have a very simple task, which is I want to make sure that at the end of my 5 minutes, to realize very clearly why your work is so vital and so important. And I say that, with my passion for the issues that you work with, but also with my long-standing experience in the World Health Organization and in the communities that you have served. So let me just for a moment ask, why is the work you do so important? You know, for your work and so from your experience, that gender inequities and inequalities are so pervasive in the society where we live, and they hamper the health and the rights, particularly of people and particularly young women. And the distribution of these inequities is such that the most vulnerable, the most marginalized community, whether it is in the United States, whether it is in the hillsides of Kenya, whether it is in the southern horn of South Africa, or whether it is in the states of India, always the most community, the poorer at the lower socioeconomic end, and also the marginalized tribal groups are experiencing discrimination and have incredible problems accessing the earth services for which they have a right. And I completely concur with what you said, Pavita. You are working for making those rights explicit and fulfilled. And there is nothing like activists like you to really speak to these rights. Because very often, in my experience, the women and the young girls that I have served in my underprivileged community in Italy and also in Africa, they don't know that they have a right to access the services for reproduction. They don't know they have a right to a comprehensive sexuality education. They don't know that they have a right for counseling if they have been violated, if they've been object of violence. And they don't know that they should not be forced into a reparatory marriage if they were raped. So you are their voice and their ability to make those rights explicit and take away, chip at, don't take them away all, chip at those inequities. And I want you to realize that this work is so important in normal times, but is even more important now with COVID. COVID-19 and the health crisis and the pandemic that COVID-19 has created has a tremendous impact on the life of young women. We know that from the history and experience of other crises. For example, when Ebola struck and affected 3 countries in sub-Saharan Africa, the year after, immediately, we saw a significant increase in maternal mortality, in teenage pregnancy, in the countries that were affected by Ebola. And a very, very significant challenge for women to access reproductive health services. That was Ebola, that was almost 10 years ago. Now, COVID is even worse. We already have data that UNFPA has estimated that 1.4 million pregnancies in the last year only were unwanted and were the results of women not having, young women, most of them, not having access to reproductive services and counseling. And also we know, and this really is painful for me, but we know that in these circumstances of COVID-19, especially because of the lockdown, but also because of the security and the crisis, social, economic, and health crisis, we know that violence is rampant. And violence is affecting young women within the domestic walls, within the context of the education where they can access. And it's very, very pervasive also on the internet. And we have this phenomenon of cyber violence, which we are just beginning to comprehend and detail and study and analyze, as we are doing in the Lancet Commission on Violence and Maltreatment of Young People. So your work at this time of a pandemic crisis is even more valuable. And you make explicit for those young girls that they have a right to education, even during the time when the pandemic has affected education services, the school functioning, and also that they have a right to comprehensive sexuality education. I think I don't need to say more about the value of comprehensive sexuality education because, Pavita, you already said it all. But it's just, if you think about that moment of a young girl that is 13 or 14, whose life is on the balance, she could either continue her education and become an empowered individual contributing to society, or she could become pregnant, very often forced to a reparatory child marriage, or she will become the mother, being a child herself, the mother of another child with incredible challenges for herself and for the offspring. So that balance, you tilt that balance, you are able to your work to tilt that balance. And you should really feel proud, even if a few of the girls, you were able to move them to have that balance tilted for them to a life of realization and empowerment, because that's what you do. You tilt that balance. So I join Pavita and Sarah and the colleagues in Girls Education in celebrating you and your work I really want to hear more in the remaining hour of your experience and your work and the lessons that you have learned and how together as a movement we can tilt the balance for many more young girls. Pavita, and thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Flavia, for your eloquent words, as always. Very beautifully said. So with that, I would like to share a PowerPoint presentation that I've prepared highlighting some of our many accomplishments from the year. Carolyn, do you mind giving me a quick, okay, do you see my screen? Okay, perfect. So, So again, thank you everybody for attending to celebrate 2021, which similar to 2020 has been a year like no other. So a quick highlight of our numbers this year. So in the US, we've served 71 girls and young women, both virtually and in person, and 255 girls and young women in Kenya, all of which have been in person. So yes, while these numbers are not representative of how they used to be pre-pandemic, the fact that we've been able to have this impact during pandemic years, during a time when schools and community centers have been overwhelmed with the transition from in-person learning to virtual learning, back to in-person learning, and now who knows what's going to happen with this new variant. These numbers are certainly numbers to be proud of. In all of our US workshops, we have had the pleasure of being able to provide Diva Cups to our girls and young women, thanks to a generous donation from Diva Cares. And in 100% of our Kenya workshops, we've also been able to provide reusable menstrual pads as well as soap and masks. We have established some very proud partnerships this year, many of whom are with us in the audience today. We're excited about our partnership with White Ribbon Alliance Kenya. This has been an excellent opportunity to enhance our collective impact, bringing in Girls Health Ed's comprehensive sexuality education curriculum with White Ribbon Alliance Kenya's advocacy training model and combine our workshops. We recently had a very interesting program, the first of its kind, where we have actually engaged with the parents of the girls and young women we've served in partnership with White Ribbon Alliance Kenya as a way for us to enhance community sustainability and actually encourage conversations between the girls and their parents and caregivers. We've established a partnership with Girl Up, which we're very proud of. Again, is going to help both of us enhance our collective impact. Girl Up is helping us in the development of a virtual learning platform, which is going to help us increase some of those numbers that you saw on the previous slide. We had the opportunity this year to present at Girl Up's annual Global Leadership Summit, which was an incredible experience. And then we've had great engagement with Together for Girls. They did a very great profile on us on how our work is creating change in and through schools and preventing cases of gender-based violence. And then our friends at UNFPA, we've done a lot of great events with them, both in 2020 and this year. So in 2020, we had a roundtable, which I believe was the impetus for a lot of the other great opportunities that have followed, where we spoke about the importance of comprehensive sexuality education in and out of schools during the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition, we've had some great events with pandemic periods. We hosted a roundtable in honor of Menstrual Health Day on addressing period poverty to elevate the next generation of leaders. We've engaged in some very powerful thought leadership. So I had the opportunity to co-author, along with some of my colleagues in the COVID-19 and Gender Working Group, on the lived experiences of girls and young women in Kenya during the COVID-19 pandemic as it relates to gender-based violence. And we have Diana Kasuku with us today, who will be talking about that in more detail. But all of the work that's presented in this article is based on the direct on-the-ground outreach that she's done with the girls and young women. And then together with my colleague, Jenny Martin from Pandemic Periods, and some of our other colleagues at Menstrual Health Hub, we co-authored an article about creating period-friendly workplaces. We've gotten a great deal of publicity this year. I've had the opportunity to be present on numerous podcasts, one-on-one with Uncle David, thanks to our teaching fellow Tavia, whom you'll hear from in a bit, Living in Your Skin, Body Positivity, Fem Chats with Sneha Kukreja, which was all about menstruation, the Mini Moon Empowerment Conference, which is all about women's leadership and menstrual health, Wellness and Wanderlust with Valerie Moses, talking about the role that comprehensive sexuality education plays in advancing gender equality. We had the incredible opportunity to be active participants in the Generation Equality Forum. So 25 years after the Beijing Commission on Gender Equality, this was a convening of civil society members, governments, individuals, and other organizations who are coming together to advance gender equality. So leading up to the Generation Equality Forum, I had the opportunity to speak at a UN Women Innovation Mastermind, and then also on a clubhouse chat alongside the former executive director of UN Women and lots of other powerful change makers in the space. And we made a commitment to provide comprehensive sexuality education to girls and young women in at least 10 countries over the next 5 years and train them to be advocates for CSE in their communities. And this was a commitment that spread across various action coalitions. So the Action Coalition on Gender-Based Violence, the Action Coalition on Feminist Movements and Leadership, and the Action Coalition on Bodily Autonomy and Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights. We have really started to formalize our teaching fellow program in a new and innovative way, and bringing our teaching fellow program to the next level, such that we're cultivating the next generation of women leaders. So essentially, we've moved from a train the trainer model, in which I was training all new teaching fellows coming in, to a train the trainers model, in which we've identified our chapter leaders, whom you'll hear from in a bit, who are top teaching fellows in their respective regions, who have again exhibited above and beyond commitment to the organization and creativity and excellence in the work that we do. And they serve as chapter leaders in their region, who have now taken on the role of training new chapter leaders within their regions, but also holding social events, professional development events, and fundraising events for their respective chapters, and really cultivating teaching fellow engagement and leadership within the organization. So this really speaks to our ground up, bottom up approach in really cultivating the next generation of leaders and building leadership from the ground up, from the community level up. We've started doing monthly or quarterly town halls, in which we provide a safe space for the teaching fellows to share their experiences and learn from one another. And also we focus on a different topic that relates to some aspect of the work that our organization is doing, either from a very practical level or from a theoretical level, to help build up our teaching fellows' skill sets and provide them with tools and opportunities that will serve them well, not only in their professional lives as future change makers, but also in their personal lives, and how they operate and interact in their interpersonal and intrapersonal relationships moving forward. So with that, I am now excited to share some testimonials from our school and community center partners, and also from the girls and young women we've served. So we'll start with a video from Los Angeles.
Good morning. My name is Dr. C-Love here at John Hope Continuation High School, located in the heart of South Central Los Angeles. On behalf of our principal, Ullana Williams-Kohlmeyer, and the entire girls crew here at Hope High School, we wanted to take this opportunity to thank Girls Health Education and specifically Pavita for being such a wonderful facilitator. In the time that our young women had an opportunity to participate with Girls Health Education, they learned about mental health, emotional health, physical health, including fitness health, sexual health, and nutritional health. Each young woman was able to be uncomfortable, laugh, learn, and ask as many questions as they wanted to. And we are so grateful for each and every one of you. We look forward to having an opportunity to work with you again in the future. And once again, on behalf of Hope, we thank you so much. I'm Dr. C-Love.
So Girls Health Ed was really fun for the girls this summer. They were able to learn a lot about their bodies, and we got to have some really wonderful conversations with them about sexuality and different genders. I think it's really invaluable for the kids to start learning this at such an important age, especially in their preteens, because they are able to educate younger kids and change the future forever. Thank you, Girls Health Ed. So Anaya, what did you like about Girls Health Ed?
What I liked about it was that the lady was telling us about the health ed was she was telling us about like the things that we might go through when we're older and what we're gonna go through now.
Mm-hmm. And what were some things you learned?
Some things I learned was that you can use like birth control because your period can be irregular.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. And so would you take the class again?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, do you want to wave bye to the instructors?
Bye.
So Anaya, what did you like?
My name is Haza Fernandello. I'm in the 7th grade. I attend McKinley Middle School, located in Washington, D.C. I participated in the Girls Health Program during my 6th grade year. During this session, I learned about how everything on social media is not always real, and my cycle, and also my skincare. Today, I still use all those things in my daily life, so I know how to better prepare myself for the real world.
Hi, my name is Amaya King. I'm in 8th grade at McKinley. I attended at McKinley Middle School, Washington, D.C. During my 6th grade year, I participated in the Girls Health Education Program. I learned how to stay healthy, eat well, help others in need, and must be a good leader and have mostly respect for others. I still eat healthy, exercise more, and have a whole lot of respect for others.
My name is Michaela Easton. I'm in the 7th grade. I attend McKinley Tech Middle School, located in Washington, D.C. I participated in the Girls Health Program during my 6th grade year. During this session, I learned about facial, my cycle, and social media. Still today, I still take care of my face.
My name is Kelsey Payne. I am in the 7th grade. I attend McKinley Tech Middle School, located in Washington, D.C. I participated in the Girls Health Program during my 6th grade year. During this session, I learned about facial things and my cycle and about social media. Today, I still want to learn about those 3 things, and I know how to take care of myself properly when it comes to my skin.
And then we have one more video from Kenya. So.
Health education has, girls' health education has helped us. It has taught us what self-esteem is. And self-esteem is believing in oneself and believing that you are capable. And we thank you for donating these pads for us and for also giving us so. And we are very much thankful.
So that is a testimonial that to the work that all of you have done. So with that, I'm excited to introduce our teaching fellows and our chapter leaders from each region. And we will start with Mary Grace Clark, who is the chapter leader from the New Orleans region.
Hi, I'm Mary Grace, and I'm the chapter leader for New Orleans. Obviously, I'm at work, so I only have a few minutes, but I have absolutely loved my time with Girls Health Ed. I've been with them for a couple years now, helping run, before the pandemic, run a workshop and then teaching our new teaching fellows to get them going during the pandemic. And I've just had a really great time. I don't know if I missed it, but what was I supposed to be talking about? Sorry.
No worries. The impact that you've seen Girls Health Ed have on the girls and young women you've served, and also how it's impacted you personally.
Yeah, it's done. I mean, it's incredible work. I mean, across the organization, and just, I mean, the outreach we've done to really start that conversation of female sexuality and gender equality and, you know, how to have these healthy relationships. It's really giving those girls that I've seen worked with, the confidence to, you know, be their own person, stand up for themselves, and bring back that self-worth that we talked about them losing during puberty. I know in my own life, it's really changed how I talk about myself. It's changed how I've talked about female health and reproduction, and just being able to have those conversations with people near me, you know, the conversations we're not supposed to have because they're, you know, taboo or whatnot, you know, starting that conversation, it's okay to do so.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for your service, Mary Grace, and thank you so much for being here while you're at work. We really appreciate
Thank you.
it.
I'll be in and out during it.
Yeah, definitely. So unfortunately, your honoree, Gabby Sheets, had to leave for another meeting, but we'll just quickly recognize her for the hard work that she's done and the impact that she's had in New Orleans. So thank you, Mary Grace and Gabby. So now I would like to introduce our Los Angeles chapter leader, Ms. Himani Parekh.
Hi, I'm Himani. I also have been part of Girls Health Ed for just a couple years, but I've thoroughly enjoyed like every minute that I've spent working with it. I think the work that we've done is really, really incredible, and the impact that I've seen. I hosted one in-person workshop before the pandemic like closed everything, and I was talking to this one girl, and from the very beginning, like she was really shy, and then towards the end, she really felt empowered enough to like say that, you know, my parents didn't want me to go to college, but I'm going to. And even though college wasn't something we discussed like directly through the workshops, it was seeing her ability to take that like control over her life again, like seeing how talking about women empowerment made her feel comfortable enough to say, no, like I know that I want to do this and I'm going to fight for it, even though everyone else doesn't think I should. I thought that was really incredible. And I think that also had a huge impact on me because I saw that, you know, like I knew that this work was meaningful, but it really showed me just how much after being a part of it. Oh, sorry. But yeah, and I'd like to now introduce Jenna Holtzman, our honoree.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Jenna, and I started with Girls Health Ed actually during the pandemic. I really wanted a way to give back and do something that felt good during a really dark time, and I'm so glad I did because working with Girls Health Ed has been an amazing experience. I think educating females about their bodies and their rights and how to speak up and boundaries and self-care is so critical in their formative years and necessary for having a happy and healthy life. And I think it makes also things a lot easier when you are more informed and just a lot better. And yeah, I'm so happy that I've been able to be a part of this. I hope to get to experience, in-person workshops at some point, because it's been, extremely just an amazing experience. And a large part of my own drive is to shatter glass ceilings, so other, females don't have to, go through the same challenges that we shouldn't necessarily have, and that we all can just, succeed and do well. So yeah, I hope to continue working with Girls Health Ed in more ways than just being a teaching fellow and doing a lot more to give back. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Jenna. And I want to say that I had the opportunity, because we were virtual this year, I had the opportunity to watch Jenna give workshops at Hope Continuation High School. And she just did such an incredible job. The way that you lifted up the energy of the classroom and the spirit of the classroom. And when we heard some of the girls and young women saying things like, I used to think I was just taking up space, but now I know that I'm beautiful. Or when a young woman in your classroom said, nobody thought I would be able to finish my school because I had a child, but now here I am with my baby watching this class. Those are the stories that keep us continuing doing the work that we're doing. So incredible job, Jenna. Thank you so much. I would now like to introduce our New York City chapter leader, Miss Gianna Yena.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you, Pavita and Dr. Flavia. Girls Health Ed was something I was drawn to on a whim. It came to me through my school, and it was a way for me to connect with young women and enhance their health and wellness knowledge, which is something, all of the above, I'm very passionate about. I think that Girls Health Ed has grown immensely since I've joined in my 2 years. And it's something that I'm really proud of. And I think that, being a part of something for women that has such a broad spectrum curriculum, from sexuality and healthy relationships and violence prevention and puberty, a lot of conversations that girls aren't comfortable with at any age. I think that it's something that, it's hush hush and taboo, and, we tend to, learn as we go. And I think it's really important that at such a young and formative age that we're opening up the conversation and giving the girls the opportunity to learn about these things, but we make it fun and interactive, and we really encourage them to have a voice. And yeah, I just think it's such a wonderful organization, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. So thank you. And I'd like to introduce a teaching fellow who joined this year and is just exceptional. Ashna, it's my pleasure to introduce you.
Thank you, Gianna. First of all, I remember when Gianna was training me, I was so nervous about the very first workshop I ran, and I was like texting her before, and she was like, remember what I taught you? Here are some ideas for activities, you'll be fine. And that was very helpful. Thank you, Pavita, for your continued support and mentorship. And thank you to everyone here, honestly, for inspiring me constantly and making this such a warm community centered around making the changes we want to see in the world. Girls Health Ed has meant so much to me for a number of reasons. I think all of the teaching fellows here can relate to this, but I think a lot of my own formative health and sexuality education wasn't the strongest and failed a lot of the girls around me. And I think that growing up is confusing, and puberty is confusing, and having a relationship with yourself can be scary. And we're not taught that they're supposed to be scary, and then you're more scared. And I don't know, I am the woman I am today because of the people who stepped in and filled in the role that my schools should have, like my mom, my sister, my cousins, my friends, and I was lucky to have them and to have people in my life who could afford the time to support me as I navigated my body changing and finding myself. And Girls Health Ed is so important because it recognizes that not everybody has that. And we're helping to build a generation of women who are empowered with information about, like Gianna said, such a broad spectrum of things. And yeah, I'm really thankful for my experiences with Girls Health Ed, namely because having any sort of hand in raising the next generation of women is the most validating way to inch the needle forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ashana. I would now like to introduce our Washington, D.C. region chapter leaders, Ms. Sarah McKee and Ms. Meredith Henning.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah McKee, and I'm the co-chapter DC lead. I work at Management Sciences for Health at my day job and love working with Girls Health Ed, in my free time, but I'll let Meredith introduce herself.
Thanks, Sarah. My name is Meredith Henning. I work at Pathfinder International, a similar global health organization to Sarah's, and we actually met at Management Sciences for Health, so it's been great doing some of this work as DC chapter leaders of Girls Health Ed. And we've both been part of Girls Health Ed for almost 3 years now, and we were asked to be chapter leaders over this summer during the pandemic. Where we were able to work directly with classrooms and work with young women, but also now as chapter leaders are able to engage other teaching fellows, which has been really wonderful. And as mentioned, both of us come from international and global health backgrounds, so we really wanted to bring our skills and knowledge to our own communities. So that's been really empowering to be able to engage with these young women face to face. I know that I've learned a lot from that, and Sarah as well. We've talked a lot about that. And so over the past year and a half, as we've entered this new teaching or chapter leader role, we've had the pleasure to train our DC teaching fellows and have really been blown away by the passion and dedication they all have to sexual and reproductive health and rights, as well as impressed by the wide range of skills and experiences they bring to the table. From health providers to college students, it's clear we have a really impressive and inspiring group of teaching fellows doing great work in the community. So we really applaud you all, both in the DC area as well as across the world. So thank you so much all for your work. I'll hand it over to Sarah.
Yeah, just to add on to Meredith, despite how amazing all of our teaching fellows are, we definitely want to take the time to thank just one of them today for the outstanding work that she has done in our local community centers and schools in DC. And when teaching fellows and all of us go into these workshops, we never know who we're really going to be working with, or what topics are going to be discussed or really focused on, or might be triggering to some of the girls that we work with. So this organization, we really rely on these teaching fellows to ensure that the information being provided is evidence-based and accurate. So on top of all of that, these topics bring up challenging discussions that you have to navigate with compassion and with understanding. And that is something that Tavia Ricks, the DC teaching fellow who we're honoring today, has successfully showcased and has embodied in all of her work. So I'll hand it over to Tavia, our amazing DC honoree, to talk about her experience and the amazing work that she's done. So congratulations and thank you, Tavia, for the impactful work that you've been doing in the past year.
Are you talking about me, Sarah?
Yes, I am.
I'm just joking. Thank you so much. I want to thank Sarah Hillware, the founder of Girls Health Ed, first of all, for giving all of us this opportunity. I'm so thankful. I'm also thankful for the good friends that I have surrounding me. Carolyn in particular, she's the one who introduced this organization to me. I know that, growing up in DC was something that was a challenge for my mother because she had to let me go outside and play sometimes. So she prayed a lot, I know, and I can tell she was praying a lot because I'm still here. There were a lot of challenges that I faced in the district that I know would make her have 2 heart attacks had she known about those. But the ironic and miraculous thing about this whole situation is that I always wanted to volunteer for girls. I always advocate for children in general, but I was able to go back and teach some girls that live in the same community that I grew up in. And that told me right there that this was meant to be. If we don't have anything else besides a prayer to offer, then at least that's something. But I'm just happy that I have been given this opportunity to offer more than just a prayer to these little girls. And I know that my presence made a difference because, the things that I heard, the stories that I heard from these little girls were really heartbreaking. But somehow I was able to muster through it and give them some encouragement. So I'm hoping that the encouragement that I gave them stuck with them and will continue to. So thank you, Pavita, for this. Thank you for being so eloquent today. Thank you, Dr. Flavia, for your participation and kind words, and everyone else, all the teaching fellows and directors, and again, Sarah, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tavia. And I also want to say how above and beyond that you went. I'll highlight one story in particular. I know that you had been doing a lot of your workshops virtually at the ARC, and you took it upon yourself to actually plan an in-person visit to meet with the girls directly. And I'll never forget when I saw the video of the look on their faces when they got to meet you in person. That was just so precious. And you went and you gave them gifts, and you offered your time to them. You gave them journals so that they can continue to reflect upon their experiences. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that we can offer. And the story that you told me about the young lady who had been hurting herself because of the bullying that she experienced in school, and the impact that Girls Health Ed made on her and helping her feel more confident in herself, I think is just wonderful. So thank you for your service. Now I would like to introduce our Kenya program coordinator, Ms. Diana Kasuku, who has truly built our Kenya program. It wouldn't exist without her and all the work that she's doing. I'd like to give it to Diana now to speak about your experiences in Kenya.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Pavita, for this opportunity. Congratulations to all the teaching fellows. Been just admiring whatever you people are saying. I come from Kenya. I'm based in Nairobi. Girls Health Ed came really handy last year during the pandemic, because in Kenya we had 7 p.m. curfew, and so many girls faced a lot. They faced violence, which was sexual, psychological, physical, from their close relatives. Yeah, and some were raped, and some were beaten up, and they couldn't even go out to seek for help from the local chiefs, from the police, because they were afraid they would be arrested. The curfew was really bad on them. And during the day, Girls Health Ed came in handy because we came in with the curriculum on violence, and we trained the girls on how they could protect themselves, on how they could reach out to those safe places. I give a thumbs up to Korogocho, Restore Dignity Korogocho, that offered a safe place for the girls, the Spa Africa, and the Madare Rugby Football Club. Yeah, these are some of organizations that offered safe places for these girls during the pandemic, and they still even do right now. Because during this pandemic, so many girls, we have so many teenage mothers who haven't gone back to school. Yeah? They don't have anything to do. They don't have any economic activity. They were so wasted, they felt they'd given up. But Girls Health Ed, after the training, yeah, there's some life in them that assured them that there's life, there's more to life than other than feeling so bad for yourself. And then there has been transactional sex before, where girls exchange their bodies, they have sex with motorbike riders in order to get this commodity, in order to get pads, yeah, in order to get panties, in order to get school fees, in order to get food. Yeah, and even mothers sending out their kids to go have sex with motorists in order to get these local commodities. But after talking to these girls, and training them on how they can be creative. If at all their parents don't have money, or even if they don't have money, or these sanitary towels, the girls were more confident and their self-esteem grew. And they were so thankful to Girls Health Ed. You find that when you approach these girls for the first time, they don't open up. They're so coined up. But after training them on the first day, on the second day, they open up and they tell you all their problems, and they're even ready to share whatever they experience on a day-to-day basis. So Girls Health Ed, I would like to thank Girls Health Ed for that curriculum, for that education that it has offered to these girls. Yeah, because you find that most of them are so timid. Yeah, some parents can't even allow their kids to come to these sessions. But just as Pavita said, when we engaged the parents on the last activity that we did, the parents are now even more open to let their kids come for these sessions. And they can even advise their neighbors, their relatives, their friends to let their girls to come and join us. And the girls that we train also in school, they've also formed a group that they advise each other, they train each other on whatever they've experienced through Girls Health Ed. On the nutritional value, we've also trained, in Africa, not only in Africa, but I think it's a global thing. You find that girls like junk, yeah, and they think it is a style. It's so fashionable to eat fries, to eat chips you get. So we also taught them on nutrition and WASH, that is water, sanitation and hygiene, yeah, which they've also taken it positively. So I want to thank Girls Health Ed. I've worked with Girls Health Ed for a very long time. And thank you, Sarah Hilwea and Pavita. You people have really supported us, and I really thank you. I really thank you so much. And I hope in the future, we'll work on more ideas like now the teenage mothers who are still there, because they're also girls and they're young and they're mothers. Yeah, so I've been trying to do a research on how to do that, on how to put up a proposal. I proposed it to Pavita, but I'm still working on it, and I hope I'll share with you all. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much, Girls Health Ed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diana. And thank you for being a role model and a safe space to the girls and young women. The fact that they've been able to open up about their experiences is a testament to the safe space that you've created for them. And yes. I know that their lives are better now because of what you've been able to offer them.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to express our appreciation on behalf of both Diana and me to the White Ribbon Alliance Kenya for our partnership, and to the the Kenya Coalition for Preventative Mental Health, of which we have become members this year, both of which will help us to expand and amplify on our collective impact. Our final honoree for the day is very special to me, our team member of the year. So Carolyn Griffith has been with Girls Health Ed for about 2.5 years now, and she started off as a teaching fellow thanks to our awesome board member, Jeff Puretz. And she has exhibited, again, above and beyond commitment to the organization, has had really creative and innovative ideas for celebrating the girls and young women whom we've served. And then this year she came on as my operations coordinator and has been a true friend to me and has helped share some of the burden with me. As we've all talked about, the work that we do is not easy. In my work, I have been faced with a lot of tough decisions, and Carolyn has always been there as a sparring partner and sometimes even a shoulder to cry on, and just a true friend and a mission aligned partner. And I have so much admiration for you, and I'm just so grateful that you have joined the core team of Girls Health Ed, and just the way that you approach the work, and you're always so organized and always on time, and you're just awesome, and I really appreciate you. I don't know if would have been able to survive this year without you. So Carolyn, please close us out.
Thank you so much, Pavita. It is genuinely an honor to work with this organization. I am extremely grateful for the opportunity to work with some very strong and wonderful people, wonderful women. Just knowing the impact that we make as an organization on that core group of young ladies, it makes all the difference in the world, and it encourages me to keep trying and keep moving forward and keep pushing forward. All the board members, all the honorees and everyone here that put in all that hard effort and diligent work, I say thank you. We all appreciate you. And again, it's just an honor to work with such a great organization as we continue to grow.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, for your above and beyond dedication and for helping keep me sane and for everything that you've done for Girls Health Ed and for helping me co-organizing this event for me. All of the logistics and everything that went into this event, that's all Carolyn. So thank you for that. So with that, I would just like to once again thank everybody, congratulate all of our honorees, thank all of our board members and all of you for supporting us in some way, and really looking forward to
Can
what—
I make a final comment?
Oh yes, please, Dr. Flavia.
Yeah, so Pavita and colleagues, thank you so much. After having listened carefully to each of your experience, I have a wish that I want to share with you. Please take this passion and this eloquence and this experience you have gained and move it to the policy action. Raise your eyes in your communities, where you live, where you work, and speak up, address the policymakers, because what you're doing is so wonderful and you have that voice and that legitimacy to speak for rights of others that is so precious in the policy domain. So little wish, Pavita, is that this wonderful group of people will become very able to advocate and push for change of policies, because what we are talking about is affecting lives of millions around the world. And we want the policymakers to work with us, to support you. Where are they? So raise your voice, and you are wonderful. You have such an energy and such a passion about it that really, I'm sure your voice will be heard.
Thank you, Dr. Flavia. I actually couldn't have said it better myself. What we're doing here, what the work that all of you are doing here, you're not just affecting individuals, you're affecting communities. And what you're doing today is going to have a ripple effect for generations to come. And I just hope that you all recognize and appreciate that. So again, I want to thank everybody so much for being here today, especially all of our honorees and our chapter leaders, and looking forward to what 2022 has to bring, and we just truly couldn't have done it without all of your support. So thank you all so much, attendees live and replay. I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. It was
amazing so much.
Thank you.
And this is being recorded, so you all will have the recording that will be sent to you via social media, email, and our newsletter. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks again, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Holidays.